My name's Helen. I'm the Tinystitcher here on Flosstube and over on Instagram. I think it's gonna be quite a long one today. It hasn't been that long since I filmed, but I have a lot of stuff to tell you about, which is exciting. I've just woken up from a nap, so a bit bleary-eyed, but feeling energized. For that, you wouldn't have liked me an hour ago. It is Friday the 27th of May. It is kind of overcast, really windy here in the northeast of England. It is 16 degrees, 60 Fahrenheit. But yeah, just really windy. I hate this type of weather. The wind, I don't like the wind at all. It makes me but yeah, it's not too cold, so it's okay. We went out for breakfast this morning. It was lovely. The baby stayed at my dad's house last night, so we had a nice morning. Me and my husband, we went out for breakfast. I had pancakes. I had pancakes with bacon and maple syrup, but the bacon wasn't great. But the pancakes were good. The coffee was good. Anyway, so that was the start to our day. I've been doing some work and been just getting ready for this filming. Like I say, I've got a lot to talk about, so we should just get in it. Okay, first of all, finishes. So I've had 2 finishes. I've had this start and finish, I think. So this was a little kit that I got in a mystery box from Hello Treacle, Amy, Hello Treacle. It's the Fuck the Tories hoop kit. It's gonna live up here. I'm gonna tell you about it first. This was all a kit. The actual pattern had some like lots and lots of backstitched snowflakes. That's what I was trying to think of the word. Using DMC Etoile. So this is stitched with Etoile, which was the first time I've stitched with Etoile. And it was nice on this opalescent 14 count. Yeah, so it's quite big, so it was okay. It's a 6-inch hoop, but I just did not get on with it at all. It was a really nice pattern, but when I was doing this, I was angry about the Partygate stuff that's going on with our government right now. And also their lack of action, any kind of action, on anything right now. NHS crises, cost of living crisis, climate change, all of that. So this is one of Amy's mantras. Fuck the Tories. I'm sure she doesn't own it, but it features a lot in her work. So yeah, this had lots of detail here, but I decided not to finish those because I just couldn't. It was a beautiful, beautiful, really intricate backstitch pattern that I did not have the patience for right then. And I don't think she would mind that I left it off because it's all finished. I backed it with its terrible backing. It's like not tight at all. But hey ho. Better to be done than perfect. Is that the thing? So I've had it up here. Add to my little collection on the wall. I don't apologise for it. I don't apologise for the swearing. I don't apologise for being anti-Tory. So if you're here for that, welcome. And if you're not, you probably left already. So yeah, that was Fuck the Tories by Hello Treacle. My second finish was The Great Gatsby. I'm trying not to glare. It's not too bad. This is from the Stitching Book Club, Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts. This was a Sal, I want to say it was last year. I have done this on black 20 count Ada, I want to say. And there's lots of fractional stitches to do this kind of detail here. So it's like a fractional stitch piercing the middle of the square and then a back stitch. I can hold it up if that's making, or you're just looking at the glare. So that was fun because this is Stitching Book Club and this is Stitching Book Club. So I wanted to keep them all quite small. And then I found this really nice golden black. It's black velvet, which I thought was quite appropriate for the theme. And I've just put it on some foam core and stuck it because the back didn't fit back on once I put that in. So yeah, it's all DMC, all called for. There are some mistakes, so these are meant to be a bit higher, but I don't know where I went wrong, but I tried to make them the same, and then I think one of them's closer to the edge than the other one, and I didn't put the date. I think I probably went a little bit too small on this one because it's 2 over 1 on 20 count, which is tight, and then the fractional stitches are 1 over 1, which is okay. Anyway, I like the finish, so I think they'll sit up here. Can join my little gallery wall when I get some time to put it up. So, whips. So I started this one. This is Fell Asleep Here. It's a bookmark kit that I won on an Instagram giveaway. Plastic Little Covers, Lauren. So it was a full kit, and I've just had it on my desk while at work because I've just been stitching it, not in hand, but I've had it on this little hoop. 4-inch hoop? 5-inch hoop? 4. Anyway, just to give it some tension because I like good tension. It's a bit, I'm buzzing. A few things with this. So I started in the middle, so I found the middle because she gives you this piece of fabric and you stitch. I like it because you stitch all the way to the edge, so you use every single square along the top. Like top to bottom, you use every single square. Like it's got this negative space. It's not called negative space. Space that isn't stitched, but the top is the last row of stitchable space, and the bottom row is the last. Does that make any sense whatsoever? It has an eliminate. La 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 la. So I started stitching it like horizontal. I'm going to put it in its hoop so I can show you how I've been stitching it. Okay, so here's how I've been stitching it. So obviously it doesn't fit side to side, but it's got enough tension to hold it for me. And then I wrangle the fabric that I don't need anymore into a needle minder, and then I've got another needle minder here. Is it also fuck the Tories? To wrangle this part of my fabric, and then it also magnetizes to the hoop and kind of keeps it there, and then keeps my needle. So I have been stitching it this way, like holding it this way, stitching. But I started by finding the middle of the band lengthways and stitched the first little bit. So it's I turned my stitching, and you're not supposed to turn your stitching if you want your crosses to lay the right way. This is a bookmark. I'm not particularly fussed, but it was just like, oh man, because I changed the way I was holding it halfway through me holding it. But anyway, it's fine. So the other thing about this kit is it came with anchor floss, and I don't tend to use anchor floss. If it's in a kit, I really don't mind. But the lengths of the floss were a little too short for me. Now I was thinking about this, and these kits that Lauren does, I think they're brilliant for first time stitches. If you want to give as a gift to someone, or you want to try it out yourself, they're perfect. But I think the lengths were like less than 12 inches, which is 30 centimeters, which for me, I cut my lengths 100 centimeters and fold it in half to do the loop method. So I couldn't fold it in half and do the loop method. It was just too tiny. And I didn't like stitching with two strand thread. And even then, 30 centimeters was really short for me to use. Like, I felt I was stitching like 5 stitches, and then I had to end my thread because it got too short. I don't know if that's making sense either. But so it was anchor floss, so I don't use anchor floss, so I just found the conversion to DMC and cut my own lengths off my own set. So I didn't end up using the threads that were in the kit. But that's absolutely fine. I still love the design. I'm still gonna finish it. But then I thought shorter threads are probably good for newbies. So that was my train of thought. It comes as the kit to finish it all off as a bookmark. So I got backing felt and thread to sew that on. I haven't read the instructions properly to see how I'm going to tackle that, but it looks fairly comprehensive, so I'm excited about that. So yeah, this has just been sat on my desk. I've just been chipping away at it as and when. Like I say, I'm not too precious about it. I'll probably give it to my mum because I haven't read a lot of books recently. But yeah, that was my whip. I can't remember if I showed you this last time. I don't think I did because I didn't talk about all that. Anyway, that was that. So my next whip was my stocking. So this was my whip go numbers. Now let me get my whip go thing up because we got to talk about whip go. So I'm gonna have to stand back. It's getting big. Okay, this is Sleigh Ride at Dusk stocking by Dimensions. It's a whole kit. It's 16 count Aida. It's lots of blends and half stitches and everything. So oh, it's getting big. I'm like looking at it like this for the first time. I love this detail around here. I was doing this last night and there was just lots of different types of blue, but now I'm looking at it, it's like all this nice shadowy stuff. It's gonna look even better when I go back and do the back stitching. So yeah, this is, so to finish the stitching on this, I have to go back and do the back stitching, finish this, and then do the back stitching. So the third quarter, but I've ended up doing the heel, so I'm classing that as a quarter, was block 10 on my whip go. So I've crossed that off now. I've finished a quarter, so I've just got the toe to do with this, the sleigh and the horse, and then a bit more blue snowy stuff. So that's the fourth quarter. That's block 8, and it's not on my whip go anymore, but the next thing to do would be go back and do the back stitching, because I didn't have the patience to do back stitching while I was stitching, which I don't know if I'm going to regret. I'm probably going to regret. It's going to be okay. So yeah, that was, so I came down here and started, because I had to move, I had it on the Q snap and I had to move it right across, so this wasn't even attached to the Q snap in order to I'm stretching my arm now, let me see, in order to stitch this bit, like come out and then go back under. So while my Q snap was here, I kind of went, rather than go, so I started going side to side, and then when I got over here I was like, oh, I have to move my Q snap, and then I ended up just going up and down from here, and that's, I got the dog. The dog's gonna look so cute when it's back stitched, and it's got a little like French knot eye and stuff. And then coming over here, I think it's gonna be the same. Like I started in the middle. It's gonna fit. It's just gonna be tight. Oops. Excuse you. So I've moved my Q snap now over here. This bit isn't attached, so it's only Q snapped on 3 sides until I finish. So this is like a bit of the tree hanging out the back of their sleigh, like they've gone to pick a Christmas tree, and this is one of their guys' hats, and then there's another guy sat here. So yeah, so this was, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with this one. It's a lot of work. It's beautiful. I do love it. Because it's for my daughter. I'm like, I have to do it, and I think I get into that mindset of, ugh, I don't want to do it. I'd rather work on something else, and especially since it was 2 blocks of my whip go that I have left. And we'll talk, the whip go numbers have just been called this morning, actually. Well, this morning, US time. Like, I woke up from my nap and they were there. So we'll talk about that. But because for May, both of my blocks were the stocking, it was like, oh, I feel like I really couldn't get away from it. But I'm glad I finished at least the 1 quarter, and then this quarter I don't think it's going to be too bad. I've looked at like the colours and stuff, and it just seems that it's a lot of the same colours, so maybe I'll get some good like fast progress on it, rather than when it was in here it was like not confetti. I wouldn't say confetti compared to one of my full coverage pieces, but yeah, that is I really need to finish this off, and I think I'm putting that off as well, because that's just all filling of 1 colour, but it's just tent stitch. So it's 4 strands of 1 colour, tent stitch. And I really don't like doing that. I find it really boring. And it's really hard to keep it like consistent, because it's so thick. And I can't look at this too closely, otherwise I see mistakes. Not mistakes, but like Oh, there's a little bit there that I can't even snag nab it. It's just meh. But it's fine. So yeah, I probably talked about that way too long. But there you go. That was what I worked on. Last time I showed you my haul of these 4 primitive hair patterns that I had. Let me show you again just so we all remember. So there was silk, wool, linen, and cotton. And they all call for 30 count Old Salem, which I think is just beautiful. It's like really distressed. So I looked, and it wasn't going to be easy for me to find Old Salem, and I have a lot of stash, and I have a lot of like ivory or white fabric that I've been meaning to try and dye. So I thought this would be the perfect opportunity because it's so distressed. Like even if I really F it up, it's probably gonna look okay because of it. So that's what I've done. So I took some pictures, I'll put them in, but I didn't take a video because lots of people can probably do that easier than me, and if it went totally sideways, I kind of didn't want the evidence. So this was a piece of 32 count antique ivory by Zygarde. So it was already this kind of, this wasn't white to start with. It was like the beigey type. So what I did, still smells of coffee. I coffee dyed it. It looks better on camera actually. So I put the whole thing, so it's I don't even know how big it is. I don't do fat halves and fat eighths, and I don't know. It's big. It's gonna be big enough for all 4 of these. So yeah, I made up a big pan of coffee and let it soak for about an hour in the hot water, and rinsed it, and then I did it again because it wasn't quite dark, you know, because when you wash it, when you soak it, it looks dark, and then it dries and it's like, oh, that wasn't as dark as I thought it was going to be. So I probably could have gone darker, but then I needed the speckles. So what I did is I just laid it out wet on the side of the kitchen and like sprinkled the coffee grounds over the top and just let it sit there. So that's how you get the splotches. And obviously it's not as prominent as those splashes, and that's probably like, you know, the actual dye rather than just coffee. But I was pretty happy with it for my first go at trying to coffee dye a piece of fabric. So yeah, it looks okay in this light. It looks better on camera. So I'm thinking if when I do it, it's like going to be up here. See, it doesn't like. So I might hit it again with just the coffee grounds, or find some proper dye and splash it, so that I'm happy with the base colour. The speckles could be better, or maybe I'll figure out my floss situation first, because it's DMC. It calls for DMC, but I'll probably convert it into some fancy flosses that I've got in my stash, and then see how it looks on here. So it was part of my whips because I'd done it, but it wasn't the grand thing I thought it would be, but I was happy with it. And so I rinsed it and then washed it in white vinegar solution to set the colour. which is what I read on whatever blog that I was reading, or I read on a few blogs, because I was going to try like the baking thing where you dry it out in the oven, but I didn't have time. So I just let it dry in the sun. It wasn't in the sun because I didn't want it to like sun bleach it, but it was outside. And yeah, I haven't ironed it, but yeah, that was just like a fun little thing that I tried. I'll probably try it again. It was instant coffee as well. I don't know if that makes a difference because we don't have any ground coffee in at the minute. So yeah, it was just the little individual grains of freeze-dried coffee that I plopped on the top. So the whole colour might have been different if it was ground coffee. But we didn't have any in the house and I wanted to play with it. So yeah, that was my coffee dyed fabric. I might come back to that later. So the other whip that I wanted to show you, it's not my whip. It's my daughter's whip. So I was stitching one afternoon, I think it was at the weekend, because we'd had like a day in the house and she had been really good all day. Like if you have children or have had children at any point and you know that 2-year-old phase of, you know, they can't quite play by themselves, like they still need you, but they don't need you at the same time, so you need to supervise them, but you're like, they want to do their own thing, they're quite happy with you not playing with them, but you just need to be nearby. So she'd had a really good day of that, like playing independently. She'd like eaten her dinner really well, so she was happy. So I just got my stitching out. I think I was stitching on Great Gatsby, so it wasn't like a big thing on my Lowry stand. So I was like, if she gets fussy and needs me, I can just drop it. It's not like getting a big whip out with all threads and everything and I have to tidy up before she needs me. So I thought, oh, I'll just do some stitching while she's happily playing by herself. So I did some stitching on it, and then she came over and she was like interested. So I said, like, do you want to do some stitching? Yeah, I want to stitch. I do stitching. Her vocabulary is really good, I think, for 2, but it's still that cute way of like toddler speaking. So she sat on my lap and we had the Q snap and on the Lowry frame in front of us. So I just let her pull the needle through and then I would put it down in the right place, and she loved it. I'll put some video in. My husband got some video and some pictures.
What's that, Mummy?
That is a needle minder.
Yeah. What's that? That's right.
It's a needle minder.
What's that?
It's also a needle minder.
What's that?
There's a star.
What's that?
That's stitching.
What's that?
That's I think it's 20 count Ada, I think it is.
What's that?
That's 762, I think.
What's that? What's that? What's that?
That's back stitching. Do you want to pull that and do the last one?
Yeah. Get the rocket. Get all the rockets.
You see, we've done all this now. So you turn it over.
All finished.
And then we do a little Bargello tuck to secure your thread.
I'll finish.
Finish with little scissors.
Yeah.
Snip. And then put this in the oat jar.
Yeah, I do that. Do it again.
Do it again?
Yeah.
Okay. Find the next colour. So that sent me on a, right, she's interested now. I need to teach her how to stitch. And, you know, I learned with like an early learning centre kit on like cardboard and a shoelace essentially. And I'm not a Montessori parent or educator, like, but I do find the value in that kind of mentality of let them do real world stuff, like appropriately. So she helps us cook dinner. She's 2. You'll see pictures. But she helps us. She has a nylon knife. So it can cut through vegetables, but she can't hurt herself. Well, you know, she can't hurt herself badly. She can't slice her finger open. So I thought, what she can have Ada, and she can have a key snap and a really thick needle so she can grasp it, but a blunt one. But she doesn't need a plastic one. You know, so I ordered her some stuff. So this was a project bag that I had spare. So she's got all her own stuff, like all the independent. So she's got a little notions bag. This is just an old what do you call it? Makeup bag. See, I don't wear makeup. So she has her own little notions bag, and I got her some scissors, and I got a proper Fiskars scissors because, you know, we get quality in this house. We don't get no. They are safety scissors. They're rounded, but they are metal. They do cut. So she's learning how to do that, and it's fun. It's a fun bee. I would have these in my stitching bag. And then I got her some pearl cotton floss, so I put it on a bobbin, and one of her favourite songs is Wind the Bobbin Up. So to show her a bobbin, obviously it's not the bobbin that, you know, when that song was sung, it was like the cotton bobbins, but it's still a bobbin. I'm like, this is a bobbin, you're winding your bobbin up. Anyway, so it's number 5 pearl cotton, so it's just one strand. She can just, I thread it through for her, she's not quite there yet. But then I got her some 11 count Ada on a Q-snap, and she did this. I don't know which way up it goes. I'm gonna think this because this was the needle minder that we had. She did this. So she sat on my lap, and again, I'll show you the video of this when I actually got it for her. And I would put the needle through the back because her little arms can't reach. This is an 11 by 11 Q-snap. She can't reach through the back. But she pulled the needle up through, turned it around, and pushed it back through. And then I would pull it. And she would decide where to go. So it's a bit more freestyle embroidery at the minute than it is cross stitch. But she did this. I'm being such a gushy parent now, but I think it just shows that kids can do things if you give them the opportunities to. You know, we don't need plastic things. They can do real world stuff. So yeah, she did this, and then she decided she was finished, so we stopped. And so we parked her needle on a little needle minder. She picked this out. And so yeah, so I started trying to show her how to cross stitch. I think that's when she got bored. So we'll come back to that later. But yeah, it's number 5 pearl cotton, 11 count Aida, a really thick needle. It's still sharp, but it's not a sharps needle. It is like a tapestry needle. It's my 2-year-old. And I don't know whether I'm getting too excited about it and then she'll like not want to do it in a couple of years' time and I'll have like ruined the thing, but I don't know. She was excited about it and I didn't force it on her. But if she wants to, she can do some stitching. The next morning after we'd stitched on the Great Gatsby together, she came downstairs and she said, "I do stitching now." Yes, you can. We can do stitching all day if you want. Anyway, so that's Anna's work. So hopefully I'll show you more progress when that comes along. But yay, I was just happy about that. So first thing that is out of the box is I got this pouch. This is from Kate Blandford. I got it right. I follow her on Instagram. She has like an embroidery kind of cross stitch, but she also makes like acrylic needle minders and floss card things. I'm really bad at this. So she was having a second sale on her Instagram, so I picked some stuff up. So this was one of them, and I've already started using it because, sorry. But I have my fell asleep here stuff in, so I am using this as my like work desk notions pouch because I always end up using my like paper scissors to cut my thread, and I thought, no, I need some actual I need actual embroidery scissors. So I've got a pair in here. These are not new, but they were just like, they've been sat in my box because I have my other ones in my notions, and it's like, well, why don't I have it on my desk? And now I've got a place to put them on my desk, and then when I tidy up, it can all stay in the same place. So I've got a little marker pen for gridding and a highlighter for marking off my pattern if it's a paper pattern. So yeah, I can't remember what the seconds were on this. I think it's just a mark on it, but it's so cute. And I'm getting very cursy at the minute. I'd keep it away from Anna, but that's why it's it's on my desk, not my downstairs one. But yeah, it's just a really nice like vinyl sticker, shiny. So that was that, and then she had these bookmarks, notepads. This one just it's got like a few pages missing, so that's why it was in the seconds. But it's just this like gridded paper and ideas, so I'm gonna keep it on my desk. And if I have any great ideas about designs, I'm not a designer, but you can doodle on that and see what comes out of your head. So that was that from Kate. That was her. That's her details at Kate Blandford. I'll link everybody that I talk about below. She's great. So I got these two pieces of band linen. So it's that like it's finished on the side, and they are long pieces. And I didn't realize. I didn't look at the sizes really. I just saw that it was band stuff, And I have some bands that I want to start on, but I didn't realise it was that thick. So I don't really know what I'm going to do with it. Like what pattern I might put on it. But again, they're white. I could dye it. There's some like heavy slubs in here. Like that's anyway, they were like £2 each. So I'm not crying about it. So I think they're both like 25 count, which I could do 25 count over one. That would be nice. I don't even have to use it as a band. Like doing it that small, I could probably just use it as fabric. It's quite slubby though. Anyway. So the other thing that I got was lots and lots and lots of pearl cotton. So this was a lot. Again, on the stash and load site. I don't need this. I do because I want to do my counted canvas stuff again. So I did my counted canvas piece, Starry Skies, and I have other patterns, but I need to do a colour conversion because I like the patterns, just not the colours that the designer picked. So there are some like variegated pieces in here. They just came in like one big bag, so I spread them all. I think I have a picture. I spread them all out on the floor and tried to match them up to colours and types, and I ran out of floss away bags, so I got some floss away bags. More floss away bags. Because yeah, let's get some of this out here. See, there's like this really cool, I don't know if it classes as pearl cotton, but there's like metallic-y ones. And I really like this one. It reminds me of like Neapolitan ice cream. Really subtle, but what was I gonna say? Oh, this rainbow one's cool too. So it wasn't one of these like, it's a good deal, but then you've got to sort it out kind of thing. So it took a bit of work. So yeah, before this haul, this was where I kept my DMC pearl number 5. So it has vastly outgrown that to 2 things and 2 snack bag things. So I need to rethink that. But so I got my stash of Karen colour watercolors, silks, and I have a lot of pearl cottons to choose from, so I could possibly look at then doing a colour conversion on a counted canvas piece and get a new canvas piece started, because that's what I want to do. So yes, I did need them, and I'm terrible at making decisions coming to when it comes to colour conversions, because you can read online of like how other people have done it, but then if they're using fancy flosses, you don't know if it's going to be the same dye lot. I don't have that artistic capacity to say, oh, that colour would go with that colour. So I have to have it like physically in front of me to then go, right. So I have to, but I can't just go and buy lots of new pearl cotton to have it there. You know, if I was a designer and I had a designer stash, that would be great, but I am not a designer. So they're going to get used. I just don't know where or when. And I've just put them in these bags. They're each in their floss away bags, but just in these sandwich bags. And they've just been sat here ready to show you. And now I don't know where I'm going to put them because now I have lots. If anybody has any ideas of how to store pearl cotton, I would be grateful for any ideas, is what I was trying to say there. So, we'll come back to you, pearl cotton, later on. So yeah, it was a good deal and happy to give them a new home. Next, this was the other thing. So this wasn't from the same person, but this is another lot of Karen Collection watercolors. And so I asked them if it was all the same dye lot, and it is. So that's like 3 skeins that I can use in my counter canvas piece, and I know that they're going to be the same. But it's called Banana. B-A-N-A-N-A. But I don't know if it's gonna show properly in this light. It's like a yellow and a pink, and for those that live in the UK, it reminds me of a flump, which if you don't live in the UK is a type of marshmallow sweet. It comes in it's like a stick, but it's floppy because it's marshmallow, and it's this kind of yellow and pink colour. And I always used to get one with my granddad when we went to the shops. Flumps were my thing. So it's a weird colour. I don't know how I'm gonna translate it into on a counter canvas piece. It's 3-ply, so I don't think I've worked with this on counter canvas, so we'll see. But it just reminded me of a flump, so that's why I was happy about it. I did a little lakeside needlecraft order. I got another 8x8 Q snap. I got a 6x6 Q snap because everything's being used at the minute and I feel like I needed more. And I got one lonely DMC colour that was on my list, because I have this list of when I get close to running out of a DMC colour, I'll just put it in my notebook of you need to get this, and that was the only one that was on the list when I made this order. Lakeside Needlecraft, for those in the UK, are now stocking sulky threads, so that'll be my next purchase. I have not used sulky threads yet, and I'm excited to do so. What else is in here? Oh, okay. So, couple more things. Where's it gone? Oh, here it is. So I woke up from my nap to the postman putting some stuff through the door, and this came through from Kaylee X Stitch. Kaylee, if you don't watch her, you should, because she's cool. She has a hashtag try Tinystitching, so she's encouraging those who have not tried Tinystitching to give it a go. Now, I do like doing Tinystitching, not Kaylee Tiny. Kaylee Tiny is like, she uses like patchwork fabric, like 100 count fabric, and this Invisifil stuff. So she had, if you go on her if you go watch her Flosstube anyway, because she's cool, and she has a Google form that you could fill out, and she's sending little tiny packages, just a card of a piece of fabric and some thread to go with it. So she has sent me this tiny piece, and this is 56 count linen, I'm guessing. There's Susie B hair on it. She's also sent Susie BB floss drops. This is her cat. And there's Susie BB hair on this, and can I clone her? I don't like cats, but Susie BB is just the cutest. I won't have a cat. I won't clone her. Kaylee. But yeah, there's cat hair on this. I love that. A teeny tiny needle. So I can't remember what she says she uses. Like, they're John James, because I use John James as well, but I don't know what size. And it's a tapestry point. Again, go watch Kaylee, because she's awesome. And so I've got some of this Invisifil. It's just hair. Oh my god, it's just hair. Wow. So this is Invisifil. It says, is it 707? Don't know what that means. Haven't looked at Invisifil stuff, but that is tiny. That's so tiny. Apologies for my nails. I'm getting them done in a little bit. So, hashtag trying tiny stitching is what I'm going to do with this. I am going to put this in one of my tiny hoops. I'm going to go grab one. So this is a tiny 3-inch hoop that I have. So it's perfect for that size of that piece of 56 count. And I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to stitch. I need something to do a motif. So along with that, back to Lauren at Plastic Little Covers, she had lots of little frames that she was passing on, and they're these tiny, like, they're little magnets for the fridge, but it is a frame that you can put something on there and frame it. So I thought, I filled out Kaylee's Google form, but I didn't know if she was actually going to send anything because it was in the UK, and she has, and thank you again, Kaylee. But I thought, oh, that's perfect. It'd be my tiny stitching, and this is going to be huge. I still think. I don't even know. This is teeny tiny, like 56 count, 1/1. I'm excited. I don't know what to stitch. Is going to be my thing. That was the card that it came in. May you live the kind of life you imagine for yourself. I'm going to stick that up here. Thank you, Kaylee. Thank you for coming on the day that I'm filming my Flosstube. That was also really good. I know that you didn't have any influence over that, but I'm putting out in the universe that that you knew. So my other haul that also came today, it's not stitching, but it is something that has interested me for a long time, and I was into it a couple of years ago, and I think with having Anna and the pandemic and everything, it just dropped off, and it shouldn't have. I probably should have done it even more during that time, but it's tarot card reading, and it was just one of those, like, not serendipitous, but you know, when all the messages from the universe, and if you're not into this, then that's fine. I totally get it. But for me, I do believe in this, in the power of the universe and everything like that, and sending out good energy, and good energy comes back to you, and all that type of thing. But tarot card reading is something that my mum's always done with me, and I got my own deck. My deck had been sat in my bureau, not being looked at, and for the past couple of weeks it's just been calling me. And then I saw something on Instagram. Cocorrina is a maker of tarot cards, and some beautiful tarot cards. And with tarot cards, I think it's hard because you want to see them, you want to feel a connection with the cards that you're using. And I instantly felt a connection with this, even though I hadn't seen it. But this is what I got. So this is the Divine Feminine Tarot deck in this gorgeous, gorgeous packaging. Like, it's just beautiful, and they're all female representatives in each of the, it's just beautiful, really beautiful, really feminine. So I ordered the deck and I am in love with it. It comes with the guidebook of spreads to do, and then all of the explanations of the cards. And then I got a tarot journal, so you can record the cards that you've got and what you think it means, and then you could go back to it, and yeah. So I was really excited about that anyway. So last week I got my original deck out, and me and my mum had a little session, and it was lovely. Really, really lovely to get back into it, and kind of, it's like almost like a mindfulness thing for me to concentrate on what's happening. So I'm excited to be using them more with my mum. I got this cute little sticker. So then the universe in its messages sent my way Imogen X Stitch, and they have had 2 Flosstube videos now, and their work is amazing. Like, their cross stitch work is amazing, but they also pull a tarot card at the end of their Flosstube, and it was just like, oh, this is the universe way of telling me to get back into this. So I watched both of their videos, and I just thought, like, I have to get back into this. So that's when I ordered these tarot cards. So Imogen, I left her a comment on her video to say would they mind if I took inspiration from them and talked about tarots on my own channel. They haven't replied to me yet, but I don't think it would be, it's not like plagiarism or anything. And it just feels like the universe is telling me to do it. So I'm not going to do it this week, but maybe next time, once I've got back into the mindset of it and got to know my deck a bit more and all that, maybe I'll do a little section on my Flosstube about tarots. And maybe it'll just be a card pull or just talking about something like that. But I just thought it's another passion of mine that I'm trying to get into again. And yeah. If you're interested, please let me know, because I'll be doing it anyway. I don't do this for anyone, I do it for me. But if you are interested in it and you would like any specific things around tarot, please let me know. I've talked about it a lot for a Flosstube video, but I would put it at the end. So if you wanted to dip out, you could stay for the stitching and then you wouldn't miss any stitching and I would just talk about tarot. But yeah, that's probably going to be a plan of that going forward, and yeah, I'm excited about it. So that was on my haul. That was a lot of haul. This is a long video. I'm really sorry. I'm not sorry. So the other things that I wanted to talk about was Stitch for Pride. That is the brainchild of Dee's 20 Stitches and Uncanny Kari. I think that's how you pronounce it. They have come out with a wealth of resources of learning about Pride. So if you don't know, Pride Month is next month, is June, and they are encouraging, Dee and Carrie are encouraging stitches to, it's like a prompt thing, so stitch on something every day in relevance to something with Pride. They have a whole spreadsheet, but to first do the reading on 2S LGBTQA, I can't remember the whole thing, plus history of their history, which I'm really excited about, really excited about. So if you're not signed up to their newsletter, you can go sign up because they're amazing anyway, but they will be putting more information on their Instagram. I will link it below. I'm sure you already know this, but I love it so much. I'm very excited about it. So they sent out on their newsletter like a whole spreadsheet, all of their social posts that you can go through, like so much information. It is unbelievable. So for June, I have mapped out based on their prompts for the day of the stitching that I will do. If I manage to do the stitching, I'm committing myself to always do the reading for the day, even if I don't get a chance to do the stitching, because as a mother to a toddler, it's not always, I don't stitch every day, but I want to do the reading every day for Stitch for Pride 2022, because hopefully this is going to be an ongoing thing. The other part of that, it's not particularly together, but Jacob of Modern Folk Embroidery, again, you probably know, but if you don't, please go and look at his work because it's amazing. He has come out with a pattern for Pride, a stitch along. I will put it up here somewhere, and I am so excited for this one. I'm going to start it June 1st, as part of Pride. I think it's running till August, but you know, it's a sale. It runs when it runs. You stitch it when you want to stitch it. So this is going to be part of the prompts, but I'm going to start it June 1st for Pride. So it's move forward in love. So there's several different colorways and to choose from. Stitch how you want to stitch it, but it is all for the celebration of Pride Month. Inspired by Imogen X Stitch, because they said it in their first Flosstube, I think, and Jacob was inspired by that. He's then created this pattern. It's just love it. There's just so much good energy in the universe at the minute, and at a time when there is so many awful things happening in the world. The fact that is coming through is so comforting to me. And something else that Imogen said in their video is talking about mental health, and I think it is a taboo or a wall that needs to be broken. So I'm gonna start mine here. I suffer from depression. I take medication to help me with my depression, and it's not been easy these past couple of years, especially with having a new baby through the pandemic. Everybody's got their own stuff, and everybody deals with it differently. And I was having quite a bad week last week. And then all of these things came to me and really lifted me up. And it's so nice to be part of this community that can do that for anyone. You know, whether, I don't know, I don't have the words. I will talk more about him in my next Flosstube, which will be in Pride Month. So we'll see where we get to with that. Safe to say, go and look at all these fabulous people, and I'm sure you already do. But if you don't, these are some fabulous people that you need in your lives. Like, even if it's just to see the joy that they put out there, it might be good for you. Whip go. Whip go. So Whip go numbers came out. They are 16 and 9, which are two of my Mill Hill Christmas Village buildings. So I'm sure I can easily get them done. And I'll hopefully work them into my Pride, Stitch for Pride prompts, to make sure I get them done. And then we might have a bingo if I get block 9 done. 16 was called first, but if I get block 9 done, there could be a bingo line. I don't know what my prize will be. Probably just reimburse myself for the stuff that I've already bought. But if you're doing Whip Go, I hope that you get a bingo. Whatever your prize is for your bingo, I hope that you get one this month or June. Stitch for Pride. Stitch for Pride 2022. Lots of hashtags, lots of tiny stitching, lots of love, lots of good energy. There's so much good energy in the world, and I hope that you're feeling it too. And if you're not right now, that's okay. It all goes round in circles. I'm gonna edit this because it's gonna be an edit heavy video, I think. I've probably forgotten something and I'm gonna curse myself. Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming if you're new and gave me a chance. If you didn't, if you switched off, that's okay. You didn't see the rest of this for me to say thank you. And if you stayed, thank you very much. Please let me know if you're interested in the tarot stuff. Like I say, I'm going to be doing it anyway because it's for me. But if you're interested, it would be lovely to talk to you about it. And I think that's it. I'm going to go now. I'm going to go do some work. Okay. Bye.